Okay.
Well,
So
it's an appropriate song for today's podcast.
Jenna and I saw 50 Shades of Grey last night.
This is our 50 Shades of Grey podcast. Welcome to the 50 Shades of Elfman, 50 Shades of Grey podcast.
This is a special podcast because my underwear are absolutely in a bunch. I've got a lot to say, and I've got a lot on my mind, and I'm not quite sure what the fuck is going on right now. So first of all, we didn't say a word to each other after the movie. I made sure of it.
He wouldn't let me fucking talk about the movie. He's like, save it. I'm like, but, can we just start with the fact that you didn't finish the movie?
Well, we can start with that, sure, but I have to say...
He walked out and halfway through. So we're doing now a podcast based on him not...
No, it wasn't halfway through. But let me say this first of all.
You missed all the key stuff about
I saw some key shit. If you're watching this podcast, right now know that this is not for sensitive ears, especially this episode, nor is it for anyone under 18. Let me just stop it.
Yeah, turn it off.
Turn it off.
Turn it off.
Go home, get your fucking Xbox out, go get your Twilight books and curl up on your futon, because this is not for you.
And if you're in your car and your kids are in the car, you shouldn't
Stop.
even be ever listening to our podcast with the kids in the car, especially
Kids
not
are
this
in the
one.
car,
Turn
plenty
it
of room
off.
now, because 50 Shades of Grey was some fucked up shit. Okay, so first of all, let me just take a couple people through the idea of the film just for the 7 people that haven't seen it yet. It's probably a lot more than 7.
And I'll fill in the whole second half of the movie that he didn't see and doesn't even fucking know about.
I do know about it. I know all about
And
it.
by the way, we don't have necessarily the same opinion.
We haven't talked. We don't know what our opinions are. We may have the same.
Well,
exact
you're like
opinion.
very fervently saying this is some fucked up shit, and I
Wait a
don't
minute.
quite have as fervent of an opinion.
Maybe I was talking about the popcorn. Maybe I meant the popcorn was really bad. Here's the thing.
Okay.
It's about a young college lady that meets a billionaire, and he is
College girls.
He's a college girls.
Pushes the buttons.
It's a sadist, right? He's a sadist.
No, he corrects himself and says he's a dominant.
He's a dominant, and that
Because
is
he doesn't really want to hurt her,
Okay,
quote
good.
unquote.
So it has to do with that he's a dominant and she's a submissive.
No, he wants her to be his submissive.
Right, with her. But it's very interesting because what he does is he's someone that derives sexual pleasure out of pain and beating her up and tying her up and smashing her around, and he can only get off if he puts his fist in her ass after he's eaten a taco, and it's everything has to be like fucking, it's all very specific.
No, in the negotiation for the contract, she says no to anal and vaginal fisting.
Right,
So
you see,
she's got some integrity.
already, well done, young lady. Already one of the things is that in order for him to be in this relationship, he really wants to make it agreed upon by her. So he makes her sign a very detailed contract.
Which she doesn't sign yet. She never signs.
Yeah, she really wants to make sure that you can't stick his finger up her butt if he's.
Oh no, he'll stick his finger.
If he's had olive oil. I don't even. There's all this kind of like these stipulations, and
There's
they have
like
to.
5-page contract.
They have
She's
to work it all
negotiating
out
with him. And
don't smack me with the hip if I'm on my. Okay, so the whole thing, you have to endure like excruciating scenes, about this. And there's a lot of interesting controversy because there are people, members of certain communities that feel it doesn't represent this well. Then there's others that say it's. So there's a lot of
those
opinions.
who partake in dungeon and S&M stuff have a whole set of rules that they partake in that activity. I don't even know how to grammatically phrase that sentence.
Dungeon and like it's like Dungeons and Dragons, but then you also whip her and fuck
Dungeons
her.
and Vaginas.
It's Dungeons and Vaginas. Okay. It's like the famous board game Dungeons and Vaginas. I move my talisman to your vagina. Ha ha. This is if there isn't in the works something called Dungeons and Vaginas right now, then the
Go
copyright.
sign it up through the Writers Guild.
The
yo.
copyright right now is in. All right, so I had a very hard time with this movie.
He walked out.
I walked out because I can't. This is. I realize that people are very sensitive about this, but I couldn't get into the idea that this guy needs to beat the fuck out of this girl in order to get off. And first of all.
But he says in the movie, "You're changing me. You're affecting me."
Well done. Well done to her. So, here's some thoughts.
That's why he's struggling, because he sees she's not like all the other girls that agreed to his contract.
Yes. There were many before that did agree to the anal fisting.
Here, let's just, before you go on that, what
Yes.
you're going to say, remember what you're going to say.
Yeah.
I do want to say Dakota Johnson
Oh, yeah.
is the only reason this movie was
Yeah, she was great.
a dot tolerable. She was fantastic. Because that's not easy to do.
Yeah.
I don't mean just getting like whipped and fucked in the ass, but I mean
She's a great actress.
she did a great job.
She did a great job. And I actually think everyone involved with the film did a wonderful job, meaning I think the director did a spectacular job. I think it looks beautiful. I think the acting's really good. This isn't a technical essay.
It's not a cinematic, like filmic industry essay.
This is about the
This
writer.
is a cultural commentary.
Right. This is
and a
this
marital
is about
commentary.
the writer that I want to take a fucking pie.
The screenwriter or the book writer?
The book writer, and stick it in her face. But I don't want to. Oh, but I should get her agreement first that my finger's not in her ass. I want to make sure that when I pie her, that she's okay with the stipulations. So I'm not a Puritan. So I want to say that I grew up in a very, very, very liberal, left of liberal, like to the other side of liberal environment.
Like in the land of L of liberal, like way to the left.
What does L mean?
L's the letter that the word liberal starts with.
Oh,
Like
I
you're
see.
all the way to the beginning of the
Yeah,
word liberal.
capital
Like
L.
L.
So I would say that I am the farthest thing from a conservative that one could find, in terms of how I was raised. Hippie mom, and by 5 I had seen and done everything you could do, which made me, by the time I was 19, kind of over it all. All right. I also think that as far as guys go, I have a strong sex drive. Like, I compare myself to my friends. Like, I love intimacy. I love women.
Did you see that you made a fist, though, right before you said that?
Well, if you would just sign the fucking contract, then we can just go right into it. So I'm not a Puritan, but I can't understand why this schmuck needs to hit a girl to get off, or it was so far from my world, because I love women so much, and I'm so naturally turned on by women of all shapes and sizes and energies and vibes. They don't have to be I just like women. They're so sexy, they're so beautiful, they're so fantastic. It was infuriated me that this schmuck needed to, I have to whip you and smack you and beat you in order to get turned on. It was so far from my world that halfway through the movie, I had to fucking leave. I had to leave. So it's true that we're talking about this and that I didn't see the whole movie because I actually couldn't take it. And
you missed the part where, and there's
I'm in an uproar.
spoilers. This is
Spoils.
this is one giant spoiler
Yeah.
because I'm not going to hold back.
But don't fucking see the movie anyway. So fuck you if you're gonna.
Well,
okay.
okay,
Okay.
whatever.
All right. I gotta calm down. I'm just a little bit. My onions are in a bunch on this. So I'm gonna let my wife speak for a second. I'm just gonna sip tea, please.
We find out, and he comes in and tells her this when she's sleeping, that his mom was a crackhead, that I think and a prostitute, and may have died when he was 4, or somehow
So the
he
girl
got
is not his mom?
adopted.
So it's not his real mom, the one that you see in the beginning.
No,
of
it's
the
his
film.
it says he was adopted early
right.
on.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
But then you find out kind of what he's got these
All right.
scars on his chest. So he had a very rough childhood. He was born to a crack-addicted prostitute. No, this is the part where it makes him sympathetic, quote unquote.
My God. Okay.
So that okay, the main thing is you have a character here
Yes.
who cannot feel love.
Right.
He can only feel through pain.
Right.
And
it's-
that's the symbolism of this.
And it's hard to not, and I don't want to judge because I know that that's real. But then why don't you become a boxer or get into mixed martial arts? Why do you got to beat up a girl? That was the part. I understand the quote unquote psychology. And by the way, I hate psychobabble, so I don't want to get into a lot of that stuff. I understand that we all, listen, I probably could top that fucker as far as my childhood in some ways, but with all the craziness I grew up around, nothing in it makes me want to harm another girl. I couldn't.
Well, that's where he lives. They're not. The one thing that I didn't really dig
Yeah.
about the film, well,
Yeah.
there was a lot. I mean, I was actually guffawing, laughing out loud during parts that were not a comedy. And I wasn't the only one in the theater.
A lot of people were guffawing.
We were like chuckling at this is absurd. Not at the parts where she was getting hurt, but at other ridiculous moments.
Yeah.
But I lost my train of thought.
Oh, you were saying the part that you didn't. There was many parts that you didn't like, but one of the things that got you.
Oh, was that in all other respects in his life, he seems like this together, and that he really cares about her. She has all of her human rights. You know, she's got every right to say no, and the safe
anytime.
word.
Oh, there's a safe word. Okay, and a safe word is a word that you say.
Most people know what a safe word is.
Well, do they? Do most people know what a safe word is?
She has her alert word, which is like the code yellow.
Like the fist has gone too far into the ass, so
and
you
then
say,
code red is like, okay, I'm bleeding.
Take the fist out of the ass.
I may never shit again. Red, that's the word. Red.
Jenna, we need a safe word.
Fuck you.
No.
Get the fuck off me is my safe word.
I don't mean
I'll
for
put
sex.
my fist in your fucking ass,
No,
motherfucker.
not that. I mean for our marriage. Like I feel one of the things that's problematic about our marriage is that in all the abuse that I've undertaken throughout the years, I don't have a safe word. You never knew. You never knew that I was in yellow or red. That was.
You never knew that I was in yellow or red.
You're getting off on this right now. You're so okay. So did you like the film?
No.
But you could stand it. You could stomach it.
No, I was watching it for the purpose of our podcast. Do you know what I mean? So
I tried.
I was there for work because I wasn't going to see the movie at all. I had no interest. Not for me. I'm good. I just have no purpose to see the movie. I don't know. Some places are calling it mommy porn, and I'm just kind of like, if you think that moms want to see shit like that to turn them on,
but they do.
I have kids.
They do.
Who?
At the theater, there was a lot of moms, and there was also a lot of. I'm not gonna say anymore. I'll fucking get myself in so much trouble that I'll be like, if I just keep talking, cut to me at the press conference.
I think it's like
issuing
single
an apology.
cat women.
What do you mean?
Single women who just have cats are probably who would get off on this movie.
Well, now that's not fair. There's a lot of women out there that just are lonely right now that are stroking their pussies and
maybe like, I don't know. I don't know the purpose of making this movie.
Right.
And the purpose of the book was it's a fan novel. Someone who is a fan of the Twilight books.
Right.
Okay. So I just want to say, you ever come close to fucking bringing a pair of handcuffs,
a
dildo or rope near my ass, I will fucking tie you up so fast you won't even know what hit you.
I'm so glad you told me that.
Let's make it clear.
No, let me just...
Because after being with you for 25 years, I thought maybe I should tell you now.
No, let me make a note because
Unacceptable.
I had some butt plugs that I had just ordered on Amazon Prime.
I don't even know what about... I've never used a sex toy ever.
When they said butt plug, there's a scene in the movie where she says, "What's a butt plug?" And then they never answer the question. Jen and I were like, "So what's a butt plug?" And here's one.
I'm so naive. Like, I have sex with my husband. Like, I don't fucking need toys. Here's the thing. Here's what I didn't like. That... I understand there's going to be sequels and the books.
Oh my God.
And that she's going to take him on a journey of saving him, like good girls like to do who are romantics. And my fingers are just quotation mark
Leave
quotation.
now, little ladies. Leave. End it.
I have many a friend who's been with a fucking sadist guy like this who you don't change them. It doesn't change by being their girlfriend.
Maybe they change, but fucking leave it to...
I think people can change, but I don't think it's the girlfriend that's going to change a sadist and make him a great, fun-loving father figure.
Yeah, don't feed the fire. Like, if a guy's got that inclination, okay, and there's probably a lot of watchers that have inclinations like that. That's cool. It's not my bag.
It's not my bag either, and I here's what I didn't like the apparent benevolence of this guy.
Yeah, that he was like such a
because
together
someone
guy.
who needs to inflict pain physically on another to feel anything is not someone who in other areas of life is going to be benevolent, as they show in the movie. She's like, oh, well, at least you're helping. When he's making a donation to the college, he's like, it's just good business practice.
Yeah, guys like that usually beat their girls, beat their dogs, yell at their employee. I don't know. Okay, here's what I realized.
I just don't think he someone who gets pleasure out of that is not going to... If you need to inflict pain on a human being to derive pleasure, you are incapable of deriving pleasure from life.
Okay. Here's what I realized.
That's what I...
Okay, here's what I think. Wait, see, I don't.
By the way, we are granting 50 Shades of Grey so much existence by doing a podcast about it, but go ahead.
No, because, okay. What I realize is that I have come across, over the last few days, a lot of people that are for the movie and feel that they don't like all the flack it's getting because they feel that this is correct or right.
That it makes S&M wrong.
Right, okay. So here's what I realized. I think back before we were married in 1923, things were a lot different. And I realized in the 78 years since we've been married, I think a lot of shit has gone down. And I think I'm very out of touch in some ways because I
think the internet's just opened up
you
awareness
can see anything,
of
right?
things that then makes people have access to things that
wanna,
they maybe wouldn't have.
I want to see a girl getting smashed by a horse's dick. Click, you can see it on the internet. Like, it's like you can see anything.
Yeah, there's things that you never would have seen, or you'd have to really go out of your way to access that now you can access no problem. And I think that opens the door to a lot. You know, the internet's awesome for learning things, but it's also horrible to exposing people to things that maybe they wouldn't have had in their life that then trigger the bad side of them or a side of them that maybe isn't so healthy for their life. You know, and I think that's why the dungeon people are in an uproar, because for them, it's a real moral code that it has to be consensual, like absolutely consensual. And she never fully consents. She does. It's not like he rapes her. She consents every time she has it done. It's just she didn't sign the contract.
So the things I've read say that is consenting, and that because she is consenting, it therefore is therefore fine. And then I've read other pundits, experts, quote unquote, who are saying,
like us,
like we fucking know what the hell, like, okay, that have said, well, even if she's consenting, what he's doing is abusive. I think it's people are getting too fucking carried away in the details of it. I think the guy's a schmuck, and I think a guy like that wants to do that to a girl is schmucky.
Right.
And I think that's what it comes down to. And I think that people are getting their jollies off. And I gotta say, all right, listen. You're more politically correct than I am, so I will say this because it's true for me, and I know that you'll be very kind. But at the theater, I found it to be people kind of maybe curious like us, couples like us that were like, this is interesting. And then I found it to be another genre of like kind of girls that were getting their jollies off. And then I found like a whole subculture of kinky-looking people, like girls that look very, very, very much like they had just come from the porn set. And I'm not saying that that's bad, but you ever meet a girl that looks like she just came from the porn set, like triple, quadruple D's out to there, barely covered up, and like a kind of a doofusy guy. It's like she's a porn actress that's like out on a date. And there was several of those in the movie theater, and it was like a kinkier crowd. I'm not saying that because
does that surprise you?
Well, no, I'm not saying that because a girl
it's a movie that has
does
S&M
porn
in it.
does that. I'm just saying it was a kinkier subgenre. And I think in this country there's like waves of that genre that have been under-acknowledged, and then these films come out, and it's like they get their whips out, and it's like, woo, it's our time. And I'm a little bit like the naive old man whittling his stick on the front porch, like, huh? I don't know what the fuck is this what's happening? Are people fucking beating each other up to get off?
Yeah, I find no pleasure in being fucking strapped down. Like, I'm sorry, even when I was in college and someone tried to do that to me.
Did that try to happen? What?
Oh my God, my fucking foot would have been up their ass.
Well, did anything like that ever try to happen?
I had a rough. Well,
okay.
Yeah. There's some things
college.
No, that were unfortunate actually that occurred that I was very violated. But like, there was a rough guy one time, and I fucking was scared for my life and got the fuck out of there. And I was college, and I had no desire to turn him into a good guy.
Right.
And I was scared, but she was so enamored with him in this movie. That is what kept her there. And she was a virgin. So then he respectfully and benevolently de-virginizes her because he's not going to do S&M on a girl who's still a virgin. So he goes, let's rectify that situation. So then he fucks her normal. So why can't he just do that?
Okay. I would rather watch shit coiling out of a Saint Bernard's ass than watch that film. I would rather watch in high definition IMAX shit coiling out of a Saint Bernard's asshole onto grass, steaming, than watch that fucking film again. I cannot stand that film. I cannot stand it, and I realize that some of you are going to
respect you for that.
Are going to be very offended because. Like I picture guys like as they're beating their wives. Hey, fuck him. That's how I picture.
They did it in a Hollywood movie.
I can't get into it. It pissed me off. Sex is so fucking rad, and women are so fucking sexy. It hurt my feelings to think like a guy would need to do that to get his jollies off.
Like on behalf of the male race.
On
you
behalf
were offended.
of the male race. I said male rape. I think I said.
No, you said rape.
Okay, even better.
You said race with a lisp, but you don't have a lisp.
Isn't a Rafe a guy that is like a bit of a player? A Rafe?
Moving right along.
On behalf of the male race, I was offended by it. No, not even offended. Actually, wasn't offended. It hurt my feelings. Like it gave me like butterfly stomachs. I was like, ugh, fuck. We really Dakota Johnson's pretty. She's beautiful. Like it was just sexy to see the camera on her. Like that should be enough. To just see her face and to look at her neck and kiss her lips like
her cute boobies.
You know what was interesting? So they show a lot of boobies and a lot of vagina in this, and not deep in the vagina, but like exterior vagina, and it didn't get me. It didn't get me at all because there was so much other stuff surrounding it that usually
tainted it for you.
Yeah, like usually when those movies happen and it's a sexy girl that shows their boobs and it's the vagina and. Jenna always laughs because she can see my eyes get wide like silver dollars. This one I was like, none of it is happening for me. I'm totally like dial went from 11 to 0. On the scale of what I find sexy with like watching Holocaust films at 0 and pure awesome sex with my wife at 10, this movie goes to like 1 or 2. Like it becomes close to watching World War II footage to me. Like that's how much on the sexy side it went for me. Oh my God, this is nothing but a soapbox. That's all we're doing is we're just...
You are.
Yeah. You got a little serious too there, little lady.
I'm not on a soapbox about it.
No.
I just feel like...
Okay.
I understand it. Like, I get it, but I don't think it's something that needs to be turned into a movie. I think the only reason they turned it into a movie... is to push the buttons of society.
It's to pander and take
the money. To then make money.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't think...
Pander to the kinky people and take their money.
Not the kinky people. It's just anybody they push the curious buttons of people.
What did you think that
Do you want to hear my viewpoint or do you want to just be on a soapbox?
What did you think my viewpoint was? Because you thought it was really funny the way I was reacting in the movie because I was breathing and exasperated and hawing and What did you think? Because you kept saying, you're so funny. What did you think that my thoughts would be?
I thought you were just too
close to the joke?
No, I just thought as a guy, you didn't appreciate having your buttons pushed.
You thought it was the sex stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. So were you surprised that it had nothing to do with...
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the sex stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so you thought it was like just that it was showing a bunch of sexy stuff that I was getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because guys get turned on by that and I'm with my wife and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was totally like...
there's a scene where he flogs her.
I walked out.
And that's where he says he needs to punish her. And she's like, you want to punish me? Because that's part of the contract, but she hasn't signed the contract yet. And she's like, I want to understand. Because she's saying, why don't you let me touch you and be intimate? He's like, I don't sleep with people. I don't make love. I fuck. And I fuck hard. And you're like, oh. And then...
that was a rad line, though. I like that line. It was funny. That was like it should have been like in a Western. I don't fuck. No, I don't make love. I fuck. And I fuck hard. I like that line.
Yeah, and the girls are like, oh, he's so hot. He fucks hard.
He's gonna fuck hard.
Oh my God, he's so hot.
Oh, where's the contract?
And then she's like trying to understand him as a human being. And she's like, so right now you want to punish me? He's like, yes. And she's like, I want to understand what that's like. Why do you want to punish me? Why don't you want to be, let me finish. Why don't you, and so she goes, okay, I'm going to let you punish me the way you feel you need to punish me right now so I can understand. So she does a benevolent thing, quote unquote, and goes into his playroom and bends over on the table while he says, I'm going to hit you 6 times and you're going to count with me. And so she's naked and bent over the table on her stomach while he has a whip with like, I'm sure it has a fancy name with a bunch of leather
We don't know.
straps. And he smacks her and she's like, ah! And so there's a couple angles. One is like on her face on the table where she's like, one, two,
Oh my God.
three. And then you cut to him like, kapoosh. And then he looks so relieved because he's blowing off steam, quote unquote. And this is how he relaxes and this is how he blows off steam. And she takes it.
I'm so
and
annoyed.
Then, wait, this is the part that you weren't there for. And then she is like, you will never do that to me again. That is never, I don't understand why you have to hurt me in order to feel whatever. And then she's like, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. And then the movie ends. Spoiler! She gets into the elevator at his house because he woos her with a new car and helicopter rides and glider rides. And this film is shot very beautifully and luxurious because he's a billionaire at 26. And she gets into his elevator and he's like, he is tormented. He's not just like, whatever, blowing her off because he's being affected by her, which sets up the story for the next couple books that she's going to start changing him.
Other fucking movies have to come out now. Oh my God.
And then she gets in the elevator and he's like, Anastasia. And she's just looking at him. She goes, Christian. And the door's shut. And that's the end of the movie. And there's like, moments where he's tormented because he's starting to feel for her. And it's not like she's just some girl who signs the contract. And he walks away from her and leans over the credenza.
The credenza.
And he goes, just 50 shades of fucked up. That's all.
Oh my God.
Which everyone in the theater laughed.
Okay.
So there's a lot of laughable moments in this movie.
So it's kind of like, it's pretending to do that thing where it's like saying, you don't really need this to be in a relationship.
Yeah, she's going to teach him.
Right, but it pushes all the buttons and takes your money first.
That's right. That's the thing is we've all been marketed and campaigned as viewers into having our buttons pushed to see a film that really, I don't know what the purpose is culturally and society. Like, how does this move the needle on making the world better? Like, I don't totally get it.
That's
those
just
shows
me? That have to show like in order to get the viewer, they have to show like, and next footage of the car crashing and the baby's head exploding. Like they have to. It's that.
Yeah, it just feels like it's a sexual car wreck that you have to go see, and you feel like you have to see it because
and someone's pockets are just getting so deep. And okay, I'm just gonna shut up. Let them exist. All I could say is, in my opinion, any guy who feels that he needs to do that to a girl to get off, I'm not saying everything has to be fucking Quaker sex, but for like that kind of thing, I think should have their ass kicked by
women's lib movement.
By like, like like a mixed martial artist until their face is fucking pulp. And then at the end of it, the guy who demolished the sadist should say, I'm sorry, it just gets me off. Like that's
good one.
That's what I think. Like I wish I was a bigger guy. I would fucking and
that's why the Dungeonists say it should be consensual.
And I would not wait for fucking any of these assholes to sign a fucking contract before I beat the shit out of them. I would just beat the shit out of them. Regardless, I'm really, really excited about Dungeons and Vaginas, and I'm hoping that you all get a go out and buy Dungeons and Vaginas, the new game by Jenna and Bodhi Elfman.
And may you have truly beautiful sex with your consensual partner without the use of pain.
Anal fisting, flogging.
Try it. See what happens. Maybe you can actually get sensation from another human being without the use of pain. I don't know. Perhaps it could be.
Try it.
Bye-bye for now.